Hey, so welcome to the very first video where we're going to be introducing some of the martial arts techniques that we'll be using as a part of the flow training program. So the first technique we're introducing is the elbow strike. So first I want to talk about why I think it's such a great technique, and then we're going to look at the first part of learning this technique, because we're going to be breaking this down into a few different videos just to make sure that you're able to take your time and really learn it properly. And then we're going to finish off with an exercise that you can do to start repeating these techniques over and over again so that you can get really comfortable with them, okay? So why? Why are elbows such an important part of this program? First of all, it's my favorite technique. I love elbows. I love hitting with them. I love shadow boxing with them. I love all the different ways you can use them. You know, I've had the experience of actually practicing them in MMA training and MMA sparring, and it's just something I fell in love with. So that's obviously the number one reason. Teach what you love, right? The second reason is from a self-defense perspective. I believe that one, they're really easy to learn, right? Now, I'm not saying you're going to be an elbow master after watching this video. What I'm saying is with a basic understanding of the mechanics behind the movement and a little bit of repetition, you can get pretty comfortable pretty quickly and feel confident using these elbow strikes, okay? Now, remember, as I mentioned in the introduction video, our goal here is to give you the simplest version so that you can learn as quickly and easily as possible how to use these techniques. All right? I'm not going to get too advanced with anything. I might do that in some future videos, but for this first part, it really is what is the least amount of information that I can give you that I feel you will then be able to go on and practice and feel comfortable with, okay? So the next reason why I think elbows are great is because whether you're really big or really small, you're going to be able to generate a decent amount of power and do a decent amount of damage with this technique. Remember, the elbow is a bone, right? And even this upper part of the forearm is quite hard, meaning that even if I'm small, even if I'm not that muscular or I don't have the strongest hands, I don't have the strongest forearms, when I hit with my elbow, I can feel that, right? You feel that power that you're generating. If you try to learn how to punch, and you have a small hand, weak hand, and you actually try to use punches as a part of self-defense, chances are it's not going to go very well for you. Probably going to hurt your hand, but you're also not going to generate the amount of power that you need to actually hit that person hard enough if you are trying to defend yourself. But with an elbow strike and the right amount of commitment behind the movement, you will be able to generate that amount of power that you need. Okay, so that's a really important reason why I believe elbows are one of the first techniques that you want to learn. And the last reason why I really love elbows as part of self-defense is because they're extremely effective in a close range type of situation. Most self-defense situations are going to happen right here. Someone's right in your face, or someone might be even holding you, right? If someone's even grabbing me right here, I can't do much, right? I can't use my legs, I can't use my hands to punch or anything like that. But as long as my shoulder, if I'm able to do this, I'm able to do this. So even if someone's holding me, I can still use elbow strikes. And so that for me was an extremely important reason why I wanted this to be the first technique that I teach, right? So again, one, it's my favorite technique. Two, it can be learned pretty quickly. Three, doesn't matter how big you are, you'll be able to generate a decent amount of power. And then four, they can be used at a very close range. In a close range situation, they can even be used on the ground, which is something we're also going to talk about, okay? So let's go into the actual technique of throwing an elbow. Now, this is video one, and we're going to really just talk about the basic foundation. And in the next video, we're going to add a little bit more to that, all right? So first thing is, how do you stand? With elbows, it's not... In the next video, we're going to talk about movement and elbows. For right now, I just want you to basically stand still. All right, so if you want to put your left foot forward a little bit like we talked about in the basic stance video, that's okay, but you can actually do this in a neutral stance. The important thing, however, is make sure that you feel grounded, right? Meaning you're not really standing with your feet together, you're not feeling off balance. You just want to feel very grounded and very strong and balanced, right? So you do that by bending your knees a little bit. You can open up your feet a little bit. I just want to make sure that you feel very well grounded, very secure, very balanced, very stable. The next thing is hands up, right? And that's always an important part, but especially with elbows. Because with elbows, if you're hitting with an elbow, that means that you're in a very close range situation, which means those hands have to be up so you can defend yourself if you need to. All right? So your hands are up, and all I want you to do is the elbow that you're striking with. So let's start with my stronger side, which is my right hand, right? So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open up. I'm just going to kind of extend my fingers like this. All right? The reason for that, and this is something that one of my teachers taught me many years ago that I felt really, really helped me better understand the elbow technique, is as soon as I open this up, I feel like it creates a nice sharp blade all the way through this part of my arm and this part of my hand. Okay? Because with an elbow strike, I'm not as much thinking about hitting as I'm thinking about cutting, right? I want this to be a very sharp movement. So as soon as I open up this hand, it creates this kind of feeling like I have this blade. And the next thing I do is I bring the elbow up to parallel here, and then I bring it across. That's it, right? So I'm here like this, hands are up, open up the hand, bring the elbow up, and then bring it across. Notice that I'm not using my body very much. I'm not turning my upper body. I'm not rotating the way I probably would with a hook, right? What I'm doing is I'm purely using my shoulder joint. The reason for that, which I mentioned earlier, is what if someone's holding me? What if this person is right here, this far from me? I can't move, right? But I do have my shoulder joint. I can still use my shoulder to create that technique, even though the rest of my body is completely unable to move, right? So, last time. Hands are up, open up the hand, bring this up this way, bring it straight across. All right? 3 steps. Told you it was easy, right? The idea is we're just really focusing on the basics here. Now, a really good exercise. So if you have a punching bag at home or someone who can actually hold a pad for you, awesome. Then you can work on striking with your elbows. But there's a really cool exercise that I figured out that allows you to practice this technique over and over and over again, and all you need is your other hand. All right, so what you're going to do is you set yourself up. This hand comes out just a little bit further. You bring your elbow up, and then you bring it across. Okay, so the elbow comes up, and then you bring it across, and you hit your other hand. And what happens there is you feel the power that you're generating. It gives you a sense of confidence, right? Because if you never feel your elbow hitting something, you're not going to feel like you're actually generating any power. And your goal is to feel that, right? That's what affects the mind. That sense of strength, that sense of confidence comes from the power that you're generating. But you need to feel that first. So it comes up, you bring it across, and you hit your other hand. And as soon as you feel that impact, you're going to be like, oh, okay, I get it, right? So we're going to do a drill now where we're just going to repeat this 10 times with each side. So remember, the other side is just as important. It won't feel as strong. You won't feel as confident using it, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't practice both sides equally, okay? You can even switch your stance if you need to. If you want to feel like this one's a little bit stronger, just kind of switch your stance a little bit, all right? So we're going to do 10 each side, and then I'll let you kind of run with that, and you can repeat that as often as you want. Something I should mention about all of these martial arts techniques, repetition is key. If you want to be comfortable with something, and if you want to continue improving your technique, you need to repeat it over and over and over again. The other thing that's important to remember is intention, right? So if I'm practicing my elbows and I'm just kind of doing this, that's not the right intention. My intention is to be intense. My intention is to create power. So when I'm throwing, I actually need to give it that intention of feeling strong and feeling confident, right? And the last thing is breathing. Every time I strike, I exhale. Okay, you don't have to make a noise. I do recommend it though. It just makes you, it's a good part of the movement. It's a good part of the practice is to kind of like, and just make up any noise you want. Doesn't matter. But try to exhale every time you strike. All right? So we're going to do 10 each side, and then I'm going to let you run with it. So hands are up. Get in your stance. Open your hand. Bring it across. 1. Open your hand. Bring it across. 2. Open your hand. Bring it across. 3. Open your hand. This comes up. 4. Open your hand. This comes up. 5. Open your hand. This comes up. 6. Open your hand, this comes up. 7. Open your hand, this comes up. 8. Open your hand, this comes up. 9. Open your hand, this comes up. And 10. Good? So I'm going to switch my stance just because I feel more comfortable this way. But again, you can stay completely neutral if you want. Now we're going to use the left. So Left hand, nice and straight. Elbow comes up. 1. Up, up, 2. Up, up, 3. Up, up, 4. Up, up, 5. Up, up, 6. Up, up, 7. Up, up, 8. Up, up, 9. One more. Up, up, and 10. All right, so I recommend repeating that maybe 3 times each side. Do 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, and then just practice anytime you can. Even if you're sitting down. You can be sitting down watching TV, just hitting some elbows, okay? Anytime you want, this technique, this exercise is always available, right? You don't need fancy equipment. You don't need a punching bag. You don't need a partner. All you need is your elbow and your other hand, and you can repeat this technique over and over and over again. That's it for now. We're going to go into why, like, what are we aiming for? What are the different applications? We're going to go into all of that. But for now, all I need you to do is practice this very simple 3-step movement. One more time. Open the hand, elbow comes up, bring it across. Okay, guys, that's it. That's your first video for the elbow strike. In the next video, we're going to talk about movement and elbows. We're going to talk about angles and all the different angles that we can use to create a variety of different ways that we can use those elbows. All right, guys, if you have any questions or comments, please leave me a message, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.